Jaw Time with Realtor Jeet. We have a very special guest today here. My friend, mentor, Mr. Bob Burg. And I want to take a second to introduce Bob Burg because he's just so very special to me. And I want you guys to know, I'm sure you know who he is. You always see me quote him and talk about him. And this is so for over 30 years, Bob Burg has been successfully showing entrepreneurs, leaders, and sales professionals how to communicate their value and accelerate their referral business. Although for years he's been highly known for endless referrals, this is a sales classic. He's also co-written all of these books that just knocked down my computer. All of these books, The Go-Giver with John David Mann and The Go-Giver here sold over 1 million copies worldwide, 30 languages, and has been rated number 10 on Inc. magazine's list of the most motivational books ever written. Was on HubSpot's 20 most highly rated sales books of all time, and is one of my favorite people in the world. Bob is. And he's an Bob is an advocate, supporter, defender of the free enterprise system. He believes that the amount of money one makes is directly proportional to how many people they serve. He is also an unapologetic animal fanatic and served on the board of directors of Furry Friends Adoption and Clinic in his town, Jupiter, Florida. And Bob is so adorable when he's with his animals. It's the best thing in the world to see. And Yo-Yo appreciates you so much.
I love Yo-Yo.
So welcome.
Yo-Yo's such a good puppy. Thank you. Thank you, Harjeet.
My pleasure. And I apologize for the music in the back. Amrinder is watching Toy Story 4.
That's my cute little friend.
So welcome here to Realtor Jaw Time with Realtor Jeet, Bob.
My pleasure. I love any opportunity I get to speak with you, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So we're here. I wanted to talk about. Just give me one moment. Can you put the volume down, please? I wanted to talk about the Go-Giver influencer today. So we're going to talk about the Purple Book today, and I believe this is one of your favorite books.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah, that's my favorite in the Go-Giver series. Absolutely.
It's one of all of them are my favorite.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So can you tell me, Bob, why is this one of your favorites?
Well, this one's really about people skills, and Harjeet, I really believe that people skills is the determining factor, if you will, between those people who are very good at what they do and have some great technical skills and job skills, and they're very competent and have even attained mastery in their field. So the difference between people who have had some real legitimate success and those people who just attain that enormous level, that level of stratospheric success that John and I talk about in the books. And so John and I really wanted to write a book that addressed that specifically, the people skills aspect. We talked about it a little bit in the original book when Deborah Davenport, who was the very successful realtor, she had said that success in any area is based about 20% on technical skills, 80% on people skills, and that the most valuable gift you have to offer is yourself. Mm-hmm. Yes, and people skills are what we call genuine influence, is also something that can be learned. And I would define genuine influence a little differently than I would define influence. I would define genuine influence as the ability to get the results you want when dealing with others while helping them feel genuinely good about themselves, about the situation, and about you.
Helping people find, um, helping
Feel
people,
good about themselves.
helping people find. I'm sorry, what did you say, Bob? Helping
Helping people feel genuinely
feel,
good.
feel genuine good. There we go. Feel genuine good about
And
themselves.
that's the key. Both people have to come away a winner. Both people have to come away actually better off than they were beforehand. And just as importantly, they have to feel good about it too.
Yes, I absolutely am 100% in alignment with what you just said. And I think we spoke about this earlier on LinkedIn of having
Mhm.
somebody already like they're better off because they met you. And it could be as something as simple as a hello that had made them or a
That's
smile
right.
that made them feel better about themselves. I love that. So now how can we apply this genuine authenticity to our businesses?
Well, first of all, they pretty much apply to business the same as they apply to any other area of life, which
Yep.
is the good thing, and that they're general principles and so forth that have specific applications. So there are five principles that John and I share in the book, which again is a business parable. And the first one is to master your emotions. The sages asked, "Who is mighty?" and answered, "That person who can control their own emotions and make of an enemy or of a potential enemy a friend." And that's really where it all begins, because it's only when we're in control of our own emotions, when we're in control of ourselves, that we're even in a position to take a potentially negative situation or person and turn it into a win for everyone involved. We all naturally have such respect for that person who is really able to keep calm and keep their head and keep their wits about them and just seems to be on top of the situation no matter what's going on around them, right? And we feel good about ourselves when we do that. Yet, how often do we, based on what someone else says or does, do we allow ourselves to feel hurt or victimized or frustrated or helpless or angry, right? And we say or do that very thing that
Mhm.
not only is not productive toward us attaining the results we want, but it's absolutely counterproductive to doing so. And
Yep.
so we ask the question, so why is that if we know better? And the answer is because we're human. We're human beings, and as human beings, we are emotional creatures. We like to think of ourselves as logical, and to a certain extent, of course, we are. But we're pretty emotionally driven. We make major decisions based on emotion, and we back up those emotional decisions with logic, right? We
Yeah.
rationalize.
Rationalize.
Of course,
Yeah.
if you take the word rationalize and break it in two, it simply means we tell ourselves rational lies.
Mhm.
And we do this uh,
I saw.
so that we don't have to accept responsibility for
Yep.
acting the way we did, which we knew wasn't right, or even making a decision that we which we knew wasn't really right. So it's important, though, I think, Harjeet, to know that we're not in any way suggesting. Hi, Amrinder. It's important to understand that we're not suggesting that you renounce your emotions or you deny your emotions or forgo
Yes.
your emotions. Absolutely not. First of all, it's not sustainable. It would be incongruent with human nature. But there's no reason to have to do that. Emotions are wonderful. They're a wonderful part of life. They make life
Mhm.
enjoyable and worth living, right? So no, not at all. What we are saying is make sure you are the master of your emotions as opposed to your emotions being the master of you. Like
Yeah.
one of my great friends and mentors, Dondi Scumaci, a wonderful leadership teacher and coach. And as she says, by all means, take your emotions along for the ride, but make sure you are driving the car.
Yeah. And it's so important as in life and in business and everything, just like right now. She promised me she wasn't going to do this, but she needs to. Say hi to the world.
But she's also a baby,
A
and she's
baby.
and she doesn't have and she can't be expected to have that kind of mastery over her emotions at this point. So, it's very excusable.
And I love that because then now I know as a mom and a leader, have that control over my own self, knowing that I expected her to do this, even though she promised me that.
And that's one of the keys and one of the tips to being able to control your emotions is that if things have happened in the past, if that so that you have an idea they could happen again in the future, you can
Yeah,
emotionally prepare for it. You can actually rehearse your
you're
response. So rather than reacting, which is, instantaneous and based on being controlled by outside circumstances, you're responding, which means
yeah,
you're in control of yourself and the atmosphere around you.
exactly. That's 100%. Yes, yes, yes. So here's the thing, Bob. So I love that control your emotions because that's something that I've been practicing for 2 years. Your movie's not gonna finish. I just need to get her controller and
Go
plug it
ahead. That's
into
fine.
the
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
yeah.
And so while Harjeet's away, we can actually even talk about the second principle, and that is to step into the other person's shoes, or what we call understand the clash of belief systems, right? Because we often hear the saying, the adage, well, just step into the other person's shoes, which sounds pretty easy, until you realize that most of us have different sized feet. So it's not necessarily easy to, we could say that literally we cannot step into another person's shoes. Figuratively, we cannot step into another person's mind because we're not them. And this is where understanding the clash of belief systems comes into play, because we as human beings operate out of our own set of personal beliefs. These begin with soon after we're born, right? It's a combination of upbringing, environment, schooling, news media, television shows, movies, everything that comes into our world. But our basic set of beliefs, our basic belief system, is pretty much etched in stone by the time we're little more than toddlers, and everything after that just is sort of added on to that foundational premise of what we already see as true. I call this our unconscious operating system, which is what most of us grow up with and live our lives thinking that we're operating out of conscious choice and free will, when in reality, by and large, we're making decisions within a tightly controlled, preset matrix, if you will, right? And so what we need to realize is not only are we this way, the other person's this way too. They live out of their own unconscious set of beliefs. But as human beings, we tend to believe that other people see the world basically the same way we do, which is, it makes sense when you think about it. It's very intuitive, because what else could it be? It's all we know. But it's not true. We see the world out. We understand the world our way. They see and understand the world their way. And so this is where that clash of belief systems comes in, and why stepping into another person's shoes, the second principle, isn't so easy to do. And that's why we need to ask questions. This is how we step into their shoes. We ask questions and we listen. In real estate, for example, and Harjeet, I know that's your field. When whether you're going to show someone a home or take a listing, the most important part is the discovery. It's understanding what they want,
Yeah,
what they need, what they desire, what's going to solve their challenges, right? What's going to bring them closer to happiness, right? And the only way we can ever know is by asking them questions and never assuming that they're thinking as we're thinking.
absolutely. It's like what you say. It's they're not gonna buy from you because you have a quota to meet.
Right, right. They're gonna buy from me because they believe that they are solving their problem, that they will be
Yep.
better off by doing so than by not doing so. So unless you understand, what they need, what they're looking for, and you can only
Mhm.
do that through asking questions and then listening. That's the key.
Yeah.
It's not just asking the questions, but it's really
Yep.
deep listening. It's
Yep.
listening to understand. It's when they even give you an answer, not assuming that, they could say, we'd like a place not too far from town. Well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
If you grow up 100 miles from the nearest city, then, 10 miles is like right next to town. If you
Mhm.
grew up in the inner city, 2 miles is far from town. So what does
Yeah.
it mean? You've got to ask. You can't assume that when they say close to town, that you define those two concepts the same way.
Yeah. So that's that part of that clash of belief system. So I may believe 30 minutes is not bad of a drive, but somebody from another town may or another belief system would say, "What 30 minutes? That's
Absolutely.
a very long drive."
Yeah.
Um,
And you'd both be right. You're both seeing it from your own set
yeah,
of beliefs. Sure.
yep. That's so perfect. Thank you so much for that, Bob. And I do want to chair you with the Go Giver Success Alliance cup that I have.
And I pair you with my Team Jeet. It's my favorite, cup, and it's like I get to well, if I hold it this way so I guess it's good because I get to see you this way while
Yeah,
I'm holding it, but if I was left-handed, then it would be
that way.
that would be
Yep, it depends on how you hold it.
but I'm right.
Please look here. I don't like for all of you Go Giver fans, this is Rachel's famous coffee mug. So cool. I love it.
Thank
You
you.
wanna I'm just gonna insert something. You wanna learn how to get this mug, I can tell you how.
I love how you said that too, like you really had something, "I can tell you how." Alright, I can tell you how. I like that.
Thank you. So, I have 1, control your own emotions,
Yep.
and 2, understand the clash of belief systems.
Right. Step into that other person's shoes, understand the clash of belief systems that's keeping you from doing that. And so, and again, it's not that we have to necessarily understand their beliefs. We just have to understand that theirs are probably different from ours. And through asking questions, that's how we can step into their shoes. So the third one is the third principle is to set the proper frame. And this is so important because when you set the proper frame, you're actually, I would say, 80 to 90% of the way to attaining the results you want. Um, what is a frame? Well, a frame can be defined as the foundation from which everything else occurs, okay, or from which everything else takes place. And one of my favorite stories uh, is when I was at a Dunkin' Donuts restaurant, and a little toddler was running around the restaurant, and the parents called him over to the table, and as he started to make his way over, he took a spill. He slipped on the floor and he
Mhm.
fell down. And he didn't hurt himself, but you could tell that he was shocked. That this was not within his realm of experience. And the first thing he did, you're a mother, so the first thing he did was look over at his parents, right? And because he wanted to get their interpretation of the
Yeah.
result. Now, or of the of what happened. What happened. He wanted to get their, what does this mean? Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? I'm not sure. I truly believe that had the parents gotten upset and panicky and, "Oh, no, my poor baby," he'd have started to cry. But they really handled it beautifully. They walked over quickly, of course, but very calmly, very serenely. They had a very calm look on their faces, and they kind of smiled, and they laughed, and they said, "Oh, what a good trick. Oh, how fun. Can you do that again?" And the little boy began to laugh.
Yeah.
What the parents did is they set a productive frame from
Mhm.
which he could operate. So rather than having to remedially dry the tears, right, and try to persuade the young boy that it was okay while he's crying, while he's upset, they got it before he was even upset, right? They set the proper frame. Now that setting a proper frame is actually pretty easy. I mean, that's as easy as a smile. It's as easy as how you greet someone. the challenge is, what if someone comes to the table with a already negatively set frame,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Because and let's say again, you're going to take a listing, or you're there for a listing appointment, and right away the couple comes over to you, when they have you sit down and they say, "Listen, Harji, I just want to tell you, we've had 5 realtors here already, all trying to get the listing. All of you say you're number one in the marketplace. We just want you to know we're not some easy markets, right?" Now they've come with a kind of a defensive frame, a little bit of an antagonistic frame, an
Mm,
adversarial frame. So if you buy into that and get defensive and start defending yourself and saying how you're different, it's counterproductive. It's that
mm,
push instead of the gentle pull. And so what if instead you reset the frame and you said something like, well, Mr. and Ms. Prospect, while I've been very honored to help many people in this area, if you have in that area, or just while I've been honored to help many people successfully sell their home, whether or not we're the right fit for each other, we simply can't know without uh, discussing further and kind of diving deeper and seeing. If it turns out I'm the right one for you, great. But if not, that's okay as well. And what you've done is you've now reset the frame from one of two adversaries, right? Right. That push, to one of two allies. That's that gentle pull, both looking out for the interest of the potential client, which is the important interest. So all you did is you just gently reset the frame.
write that down, guys. Gently reset the frame when someone comes at a negative, or starts at a negative frame or defensiveness.
Yeah,
That
so you can say, while I've been honored to, successfully sell, a number of homes in this
yeah,
area, whether or not I'm the right fit for you, we can't really
mm,
know until we both explore deeper and discover, whether I'm the right fit. So,
yeah,
so please understand, our conversation is for all of us to
yes,
discover that. And if I'm the right person, great, I'll be honored to do it. If not, that's okay too.
that's
And
okay.
boom, you've just totally now taken that in a whole new direction.
Resetting the frame. I love that, Bob. Um,
Thank you.
so she's knocking on the door. So now I have control your
Yeah.
emotion, understand the clash of belief systems,
Mhm.
acknowledge,
Set the proper frame. Yep.
set the proper frame,
And the
and
next one
the next
is
one is
communicate with tact and empathy.
communicate with tact and empathy.
Yeah. My dad has always defined tact as the language of strength. And I've always loved that definition, because to me, it can take a whole lot of strength. Going back to controlling your emotions, right? A whole lot of strength to, rather than just responding to an angry text with anger, or you've answered the same objection 4 times and you think the person should get it but they still don't, okay? Or that email or that phone, whatever. But instead, to be able to communicate tactfully. Now, tact is really communicating an idea to someone that they normally would not be receptive to, but doing so in such a way that not only are they not defensive toward you and resistant to your idea, but they're open to you and open to considering your idea. So tact is really the way you present what you're going to present. Now, empathy, which is sort of its cousin, empathy, which is defined as the identification with or vicarious experiencing of another person's feelings. Well, that's easier said than done, because again, just like the clash of stepping into the other person's shoes, the clash of belief system, we don't necessarily know how they feel. Now, here's the good news though. Communicating empathy doesn't necessarily mean you have to know exactly how they feel. It simply means you understand they're feeling something,
Mhm.
and that this something is distressful to them, and that you are there to help them through it. And when we can do that now, that's where we ensure that the other person feels safe within our relationship, within our conversation. They know they can bring up what they feel to bring up. They
Mhm.
don't have to worry about looking ignorant or as though they're going to look bad or what have you. So
Yeah.
when we communicate with empathy, we're really creating that environment where that person knows we're there to help them through whatever it is going on, whether or not we understand exactly what they're feeling.
So we're setting the frame, and then we're allowing the other person the space, that safety space, to know that you're there to genuinely help them and better their position to whatever they're at or
Sure.
wherever they are. One thing I wanted to add when we were talking about set the frame, and this goes into communicate with tact with empathy, is I have a hashtag that we've come up with in the Go Giver Success Alliance. One day I was sitting down, I was at a Marshall's, and it was a negative frame, defensive
Mhm.
customer service person. And in my head, I'm thinking, what would Bob do? What would Bob do? So our good friend Jeff West hashtagged WWBD. What would Bob do? So whenever you get into a situation or you're looking to set that frame and reset it and allow safe space for somebody, what I can say is hashtag WWBD.
Oh, yeah.
What Bob do?
I'm sure that one will catch on.
I love it. But it actually really does help so much when we do stop to think this is the situation right now. This is the reality of what's going on right now. So how can I set this where we're both walking out happy and unoffended and not angry? So it works out for all parties that are communicating with each other. And all of these principles have helped through that. So we went through four.
Yeah. The last one, the fifth one, is kind of a strange one when people first hear it, and that is let go of having to be right. Now, people often ask, well, do you mean you don't care about being right? Well, what does this all matter then? No, of course you care about being right. You want to be right. You're going to prepare to be right. What it means, Harjeet, is to let go of the emotional attachment
Mm,
to having to be right or having to be right 100% or having to be right about everything. In other words, open up to the possibility that you may not know everything and that you may not be 100% right in this conflict that you're having with someone else. And this does a couple things. One, when you let go of having to be right, you go into what we call learner's mode, right? You're allowing yourself to learn more information. This, as opposed to the person whose life philosophy seems to be, my mind is already made up. Don't confuse me with the facts, right? And so it's a totally different way of looking at life. The second thing it does is when you let go of having to be right, that other person, they know that you're not looking to make them wrong. You're not looking to just defend a position, but that what you're doing is you're searching for the truth wherever that truth may lead. And when they see you doing it, they're much more likely to do the same. And all of a sudden, they're not as concerned with having to defend their position and
yeah.
having to be right. So you're actually much more likely to be able to persuade another and influence another to your point of view or your position when you let go of having to be right.
Oh, that is awesome. That is something you spoke about everything I had written down here. So it's like, which is so cool. And I just wanted to I so appreciate every time you mention your mom and dad, Bob.
Oh,
It's so
thank you.
sweet,
Well,
and thank you. And what was it that your dad said that when you were talking about communicate with tact?
well, he had talked about tact being the language of strength.
Okay.
But I also, I there's a phrase I came up with that the single greatest people skill is a highly developed and authentic interest in the other person. Now, my dad never said that, but that's how I always saw him being.
Oh, that
He
is
always
amazing.
had this authentic interest in the other person, no matter who that person did, no matter what their job was, no matter what. He always, 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 and people just loved him. And again, it was very genuine, very authentic.
And that's how is that how from letting go of having to be right, is that how you've learned, and I'm learning this every single day of that used to be a struggle of mine. I had to always be right on everything,
Oh, me too. It was a
and
horrible, horrible
everything had to
characteristic.
be exactly. Oh my God, I had to like make sure everything was perfect before I did anything until I started my real estate career, and I learned that wait a minute, this is if I stay like this, I'm not going to grow, which comes to, from the bottom scroll, allowing yourself to learn. So letting go of that, I know for sure has helped me allow myself to learn more, and it's opened so many doors that led to a great relationship is with you, and that's like I pinch myself every day thinking, is this real?
That's so sweet. Thank you.
um but it's it's just a cool thing to know and apply. Like it may be odd to a lot of people of have not have like letting this go, but setting the ego aside and allowing your whole self to grow into your best self. I know for myself, I can speak for myself, it's helped me tremendously stratospherically.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And so that's part of the stratospheric is part of the 5 laws of stratospheric success, which is
Mhm.
at the beginning, at the end of the book. Yeah, right here. The five, the 5 laws of stratospheric success.
Great. Thank you.
Um, so, and which it's part of the Go Giver influencer that we just went through is the 5 principles of genuine
Genuine influence. Yep.
and I believe so. What I love about all of the Go Giver books is everything is 5. 5 is my favorite number. I come from Punjab, and Punjab means the city of 5 rivers.
Mhm.
So everything that surrounds me in my world is also 5, which is why I felt such a connection to hear this. 5 secrets of genuine.
Thank
Uh,
you.
why I feel so connected to all of the Go Giver books. And just another insert, we have another new book coming out from John David Mann and Anna Gabriel Mann.
Mhm.
Anna Gabriel Mann, sorry, Anna. The Go Giver Marriage.
Yeah, they did a wonderful job with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Two very qualified people to write on that topic as well.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I loved it. I had the opportunity to read it, and it was such a great book. And so, any of the Go Giver books are super like amazing. I cannot even. It's going to give you value no matter what. Something that you always say, Bob, and I love this. And can I quote you from one of your books? All things being equal, people will do business with, prefer business to, and allow themselves to be influenced by those people they know, like, and trust. Um, and this is basically all of the principles that you've gone through. If you have some time, could we go over that a little bit?
What that's saying?
All things,
Yeah,
all,
the all things being equal.
yep.
It just really means that, when things are equal or close enough to it, because things aren't typically equal. So it's really just a general saying, all things being equal or close enough to equal, right? It's going to be the relationship that is the difference maker.
Mm,
It's gonna that the business is gonna go to that person that they know, that they obviously they have to know them, right, or know of them. To That's why referrals are so important. That they
mhm,
like. People would typically rather do business with someone likable than someone nasty, unlikable, and most importantly, someone who they trust. Both in terms, as Stephen M.R. Covey, who wrote The Speed of Trust, Dr. Covey's son of Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, as he said, trust in two areas in terms of competence and character. So they need to be able to trust that person in that way. So that's why we say all things being equal or close, because if it's not equal, then the relationship's not going to matter as much. Okay. If
yeah,
it's totally not equal, no. But if it's anywhere close to being equal, so we say all things being equal,
yeah.
people will do business with and refer business to those people they know, like, and trust.
That's great. I love that. And it's so important because you can apply that to any part of your life. If the relationship is not equal, it's just not going to work out. But if you have it close to it, then it's the best thing that you can work on for whatever relationship it is. So Bob, can I ask you? Thank you again so much for giving us this time. We do greatly appreciate you.
I
Um,
always appreciate you, my dear friend.
thank you.
I think you're just amazing, and you're just doing such wonderful work in the world, and you're bringing such immense value to everyone whose lives you touch. You are an icon in the making.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm not turning red.
You're already an icon. It just hasn't manifested yet itself in the actual happening, but it will.
Yes. Oh, yes, icon. I get it now. Thank you. It took me a while to catch on to that. Um, how can we help you, myself, Team Jeet's viewers and audience and friends in our world? How could we help you immensely?
Well, I don't really want anyone to do anything to help me immensely. I want people to do things because they believe it's going to bring value to their life. So I would say that anyone who is interested in joining the Go Giver community because they believe it's something that's going to bring immense value to their life, just to go to the Go Giver, without the hyphen, the Go Giver community, and they can register just to be a member, and they can try it for months, see if they like it, and if they don't, they'll have their money returned. And it's very inexpensive to do that. And then there's a little higher level, and that is what you belong to, and that is our Go Giver Success Alliance, which is an amazing group of very successful people, all kind of going back and forth and mentoring each other. We like to say
Yeah.
a mentorship community because we mentor each other. So, and any of those things. But I was just starting, if they'd like, with the Go Giver community, and going from there.
Okay. So that's great. You hear that, guys? So if you're looking to add value to your life and others, then I know this has helped me tremendously, 100%, more than 1,000%. Not just myself, my family, my friends, and the people who I lead, my team. It's helped me become a better me, which has helped me become a better leader. And
Awesome.
that's all I can thank Bob, Kathy, Mike, Matthew, David. They're all and Jeff is amazing. He's a
Mm,
salesperson.
yeah,
He's an
he's the
expert.
best. He's incredible.
And when he adds value or he talks in on our Wednesday calls, we learn.
Mhm.
And you take that and you apply it into your life, into your business, you will see the difference in it. And so I appreciate the community that I am part of. It is called the Go Giver Success Alliance, every Wednesday or Tuesday night.
Yeah.
We go to Rachel's lipstick. We go to Rachel's Famous Coffee and cafe, and we have, like Bob said, a mastermind of other successful people who are really mentoring each other, and
Hmm.
it's one of the best things I've ever been a part of. So look out for the links on my pages when there are open networking events that sometimes we have. Thank you again, Bob. Would you like to close? I'd be honored.
Well, I just want to say thank you again. I wish everyone well. Please send my love and regards to Satwinder and your entire family. And just I look forward to seeing you at our next Go Giver Success Alliance coffee and conversation.
Yes, that will be tonight and tomorrow. Well, tomorrow, not tonight. So tomorrow. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate you so much. And
Likewise.
if anybody has questions, you can ask. And I'll reach out to Bob and get those questions answered if you have them. You could comment it wherever platform you're at. And have a wonderful night. Love you guys. Um, taking some time to end the broadcast.